In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Seeking Alpha Premium and showing you exactly why I'm such a huge fan of the platform. I've been using Seeking Alpha for a while now, and I use it in nearly every single one of my videos, and it's also where I put almost all of my data for stock analysis. I'm super excited to say that because I've partnered with Seeking Alpha, you can get a huge discount on their services at the link in the description. Now, there's a lot that Seeking Alpha can be used for, such as unlimited access to millions of investing ideas, earnings call transcripts, Seeking Alpha stock ratings, author and article performance metrics, quant ratings, they have dividend scores, data visualizations, and peer comparisons. And that's all really great, but in this video, I'm going to be showing you some of my personal favorite ways to use Seeking Alpha. And we can see here, essentially all I've done is I plugged in a stock ticker. I've been able to pull up all the status. Let's go ahead and go over. Let's say we want to look at Microsoft. I'm going to show you the basics of what I like to look at. So I'll plug in Microsoft here, and you can see we have a lot of really important data automatically load in. We have our charts here. We have some really relevant information right here. But we're going to be going over some of these tabs. I'm going to be showing you some of the reasons that I love Seeking Alpha so much. Now, like I mentioned earlier, they have a ratings tab, and we can see here we have different ratings from Seeking Alpha authors, Wall Street, and their quant. And if we go over to the financials tab, we have access to 10 years of income statement data. We can look at the balance sheet if we want, and we can use the cash flow data. And something that I really love about this is if we scroll all the way down here to the income statement, we can see a lot of other really important metrics as well, such as their payout ratio over that time. And if we were to do the same for the balance sheet, again, we're going to see a lot of other relevant information that I typically like to see down here. Now, if we go to earnings, we can also see latest quarter's earnings and their upcoming quarter's earnings. If we scroll down, we can see the revisions grade, and we have some charts here to kind of analyze this as well. And you can even see some projections for what their earnings expectations are for the future. Now, I spend a whole lot of time here on the dividends tab right now, and you can see they give really in-depth dividend scores. They have a tab for dividend safety, dividend growth, dividend yield, and dividend consistency. If we scroll down, we can see our summary right here. Obviously, our dividend yield, our annual payout ratio, 5-year growth rate, and the amount of years that they have had dividend growth. And it's also going to give you your last announced dividend. So I really like to go a lot more in depth here. So let's go ahead and click on our dividend yield tab. And you can see you're going to get a whole lot of information on the dividend yield, such as the 4-year average, your trailing 12 months, your forward dividend yield, and you can see all the other metrics that it's tracking right here. And that's going to play a huge role in their dividend yield grade right here. Now, I'm a dividend growth investor, so I always look at things like the dividend growth tab. So if we scroll down right here, we can see their 1-year dividend growth rate. We can see their dividend per share growth. Again, lots of other really important metrics that if you are a value dividend investor like me, that you're going to want to look at. And we can scroll down here and we can look at our charts and see how that dividend has grown over time. And we can also see our dividend growth history. So a lot of really important metrics and data right here. Now, we also have our dividend safety. So we're going to be able to see things like our cash dividend payout ratio, our dividend payout ratio for the trailing 12 months. And again, just a lot of really important metrics here. We have our things like our total debt to equity, cash from operations, cash per share. If we scroll down, we can see sustainable growth rates right here, and a little bit more in depth with their payout ratio and a visualization to go along with that. Scroll up, something I always look at again is going to be our dividend history. I want to see a track record of growing dividends, and we can see in Microsoft's case that is the case. Consecutive years of dividend growth 18 and consecutive years of dividend payments at 19. So if you watch my videos in stock analysis, I show you this chart here a lot. It's going to show the dividend history. Let's go ahead and look at 10 years. You can see how that dividend has grown over that time period, and you can see the price and dividend history in one chart as well. Again, a lot of important metrics with their dividend payout history right here. Now let's go ahead and scroll up, and something I do typically like to look at as well is going to be valuation. There's a few different reasons that I really like this tab, and I'm going to show them to you. Now, obviously, it's going to show you a lot of important metrics for any stock that you look at, but I invest not just in stocks. I like to focus on financial stocks and real estate investment trusts as well. And if you know anything about those investments, you actually value them a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and say in this scenario, I want to look at Realty Income Corporation. Let's go ahead and scroll down, and because that you value these types of investments differently, you can see they have different metrics here. They're going to have things like their price to AFFO, they're going to have price to AFFO forward and trailing 12 months, and their price to funds from operation. So you can see, depending on the type of investment that you're looking at, they're going to have different underlying metrics, which I think is a really great tool because this is a lot of data that I like to use in my videos and stock analysis. Now, it's also going to have things like our growth rate projections. You can see, again, because we're looking at a real estate investment trust, it's going to show things like your A to FFO growth rates. And it has a tab for profitability. You can see all of this data here as well. And something that I spend a lot of time on as well is our peers tab. We're going to be able to see the company we're currently looking at, and then some very close companies that are very similar in structure here. So we can see they're in the same sector. It's in real estate. but within that, they're also all retail real estate investment trusts. So because of that, we can do really good comparisons on these companies. As we can see right here, we have their ratings, we have their quant factor scores, how they've traded, their total returns over different time periods, their dividends, dividend grades, their valuations, their growth, and their profitability and ownership. And if we come down here, we can see their performance, risk, and of course, we want to see things like their income statement and balance sheet and cash flow. So if we scroll back up, you can do really in-depth analysis on each individual stock. So for me personally, that is one of the main ways that I like to use Seeking Alpha. But one of the second most used tools that I use is if we come over here and look at my portfolio, you can see a couple of different things. You can see here, you can link your brokerage account to track your investments there. You can also manage the emails that you get, but I like to create different types of watch lists. So if we click right here, we can see I actually have a watch list for some dividend stocks that I've been watching pretty closely right here. There's a lot of important data that we can see. Obviously, we have our price and our changes, our volume, and over here you can see we have our grades from the Quant, the Seeking Alpha authors, and Wall Street. What's really cool about this is whatever data we have right here, we can actually look at things like their ratings from different people. We can see their earnings right here, which I think is huge. We can see exactly when their next upcoming announcement date is going to be. We can see the dividends for all these companies right here, and we're going to be able to see their ex-dividend date and their payout date. We can see valuations for all of these companies, their growth, performance, profitability. So a lot of the other metrics that we were just looking at, we can see all in one place, and we can see all of these companies on my watch list at the same time. So that is a really cool feature for me personally. You can also create more than one watch list. So if you want to be able to track your bank stocks in one place, some of your dividend growth stocks in one place, and your real estate investment trust in one place, that's really easy to do with Seeking Alpha. Now, something you can also do is if you find a certain author that you like to read, you can also save them and easily pull up those authors. So let's click on my authors. You can see here exactly, we can look at things like our growth, we can see value and deep value. So just a lot of different articles that we have access to right here. And Seeking Alpha is also going to give you a lot of ideas for different types of investments that you could be looking at. So for example, if we come to top stocks, we can see top rated stocks, top rated dividend stocks, top rated growth. You can just see all of this here as well. We have a stock screener, we have an ETF screener. Let's go ahead and say we want to look at top rated dividend stocks. I'll click right here and we can see a list that based off of these different metrics here, it's going to give us out some companies that they believe are trading at a good value. Now, obviously, do your own research as well, but this is a great place to start looking at different companies to see if they fit into your investment style. And again, we can see things like the dividends for these companies, their earnings, their valuations. It's going to give you just a whole lot of data all in one place. So that's a really cool feature. Let's say we want to look at the stock screener. We can come here and click on this, and we can create a new screen to screen for stocks. So if I click here, you can see there's lots of different ways to screen for new stocks right here. It's going to give you things like the latest news here. It's going to give you a market outlook. Again, it's going to give you stock ideas if that's something you're interested in, and it has a whole tab just for dividends. You can see here within this tab, it's going to give you a lot of different ideas here. Let's say you want to look at real estate investment trust. It's going to give you a lot of articles here. We can see an article for my top 5 REITs for 2023. So we can go through this and read here if we want. It looks like it's actually an article by one of my friends, Mark Rusin. He's another YouTuber that I really like to watch his videos. So there you go. There's a quick overview on Seeking Alpha Premium. I showed you some of my favorite features, but I haven't even begun to show you all of its other capabilities. So if this is something that you're interested in, again, I've partnered with them to provide you a huge discount at the link in the description if that's something that you're interested in. There's a reason that I use this website in nearly all of my videos. It's because it's personally one of my favorite investing websites out there, so I completely endorse it. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.